At first glance, Tapinator Incorporated might be one of those penny stocks that would be passed over quickly without doing further due diligence or basic research. I'll go ahead and answer the 5 W's for you by the end of this video. What are the 5 W's? It's who, what, when, where, and why. By answering those, you will know more about Tapinator Incorporated and whether or not it is worthy of being in your penny stock holdings. Remember, whatever is said or shown in this video is not meant to be a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold shares of stock. This is meant to be for entertainment purposes only, and you should consult a professional before investing any money. Now that the disclaimer has been done, it's time to learn about Tapinator Incorporated. It all began on March 15, 2005, when BBN Global Consulting Incorporated was incorporated. 4 years later, on May 27, 2009, the company changed to Evolution Fuels Incorporated. And again, 4 years later, on November 4, 2013, it evolved into Tapinator Incorporated. While known at the end as Evolution Fuels in 2012, most of the assets were concentrated in Delta Integrated Industries of Texas. Over $1.3 million of assets that consisted of oil and gas assets, a facility in Mississippi, and money invested in Evolution Development Corporation. Sounds impressive, doesn't it? Sounds like a profitable business, right? Actually, for the fiscal year that ended October 31st, 2012, the company had no revenues and ended up with $23,000 in losses. Since formation way back in 2005, accumulated losses of $3.5 million had already been added to the balance sheet. Things were about to change. First, on November 14th, 2013, there was a 1-for-500 reverse stock split. A month later, it merged with Tapinator Incorporated by issuing 10,000 shares of preferred stock and 26.5 million shares of restricted common stock to the owners of Tapinator. What does Tapinator Incorporated actually do? They're an online game developer. Their games are found on Google Play and Apple App Store on cell phones, tablets, and computers. Over the years, Tapinator has developed over 300 different games, both the free ones and the ones that are purchased. For a few years, the company was putting the number of games in its portfolio in their annual reports. The games are published by Tapinator LLC and Tap to Play LLC, with no breakdown other than the following totals. At the end of 2014, the portfolio included over 100 titles that collectively have had 65 million installations. In 2015, the number of titles had doubled and the number of downloads was up to 190 million. In 2016, there were 250 gaming titles with 350 million player downloads. The most recent annual report shows the library has 300 titles now, and the company has achieved over 500 million mobile downloads. Since June 2020, quarterly revenues have bounced around a range of 1.1 to 1.6 million. Part of those revenues are from display ads that play periodically during the games. Tracking the last 5 years, the ad revenues have been falling steadily from $415,000 for the year 2020 to only $65,000 for 2024. Quite a few publicly owned penny stocks will provide management analysis of each quarter to explain the causes of ups and downs of revenues and income. Tapinator does not do that, so one must take an educated guess on those matters. Let's look at the details ourselves and see what comes of it, shall we? I mentioned part of Tapinator's revenues are from display ads played during the game. There are 5 ways that the company earns revenues. Now would be a good time to explain them. The 5 different revenues are display ads, which I just explained to you. Paid games are ones that must be paid for within the App Store before being able to play them. Subscriptions are monthly payments to continue participating in a premium game. And rewarded video ads are rewards a player can receive for watching an ad. Those rewards can be extra lives or extra gameplay, in-game currency, or bonuses and access to premium features. The highest revenues that Tapinator gets each year is in-game currency, where a player pays money for tokens, coins, or game pieces. For the year 2024, 94.3% of revenues came from in-game currency. The year before it was 90.4%. All other revenue streams went down for 2023 to 2024. But with an increase of in-game currency, revenues went up $200,000. Here are my thoughts on the numbers. Display ads have been going down during the last several years due to manufacturers and advertisers are cutting back. Advertising dollars can only be spread so far. But most games advertise other games, and as new games are being produced, it means lower ad revenues for everyone. The same reason can be said about rewarded video ads, which have fallen from 187,000 to 83,000, a decrease of $100,000. Let's deal with subscriptions and paid games. Consumers are tapped out and are running out of money. The necessities in life continue rising in place and price. The game players with what limited discretionary money left over has decided to forgo paying for entire games or subscriptions. For a penny stock, Tapinator has a fairly decent balance sheet. Total liabilities are about half the amount of total assets, which is so refreshing to see. Most of the penny stock balance sheets I have looked at are extremely toxic, with liabilities exceeding assets at such a high ratio that it makes my head spin. The largest liability is for deferred revenue, probably the amount of subscription payments made by game players that hasn't been used yet. The only long-term liability is for the long-term lease for the office in New York. It's $7,300 per month for offices at 1776 Broadway, Suite 2002. Expensive real estate, but we are talking about one of the most expensive areas of the country. Who runs the company and who owns the majority of the stock at Tapinator Incorporated? Ilya Nikolaev is an officer and a director who owns 440,000 shares, or 16.1% of the company. Andrew Mercado, another officer and director, owns 8% of the stock. Brian Chin, another officer, owns only 1,290 common shares. Hillary Hersher is an independent director with 3,400 shares. And Karam Samid owns 8% as a 5% or more stockholder. I feel the economy is keeping discretionary spending from letting revenues go up. There's no telling how far this company could go. Right now, the stock sits at 48 cents per share. Thanks for listening, and I'll have another glimpse of another penny stock coming soon. And be sure to subscribe and hit the comments. Thanks, guys. See ya.